So, lesson number A4, the heading, Humans Broke the Relationship and What's God's Solution? Sounds good to me. By now you've already downloaded the questions and the references to look them up so that you can fill them in. As I mentioned, we'll stop after each question so that you can look up the references and write your answers. So, are there any absolutes? Is there a right and a wrong from God's perspective? Does he really care what we do? Are his laws for our own good? And does it really matter how one lives? The issue is the relationship with God is broken by sin. So let's see what the Bible has to say about the question of sin. As I mentioned, I'm going to pause after each reference. So, question number 1, what is sin as defined in the Bible? And the reference you'll find first, there's a couple of them here, Isaiah 53 verse 6 and James 4 verse 7. And two more, 1 John 5:17 and 1 John 3 verse 4. Question number 2, how did sin enter into the world? I'll give you a couple of references from the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verses 16 and 17, and Genesis chapter 3, verses 1 to 7. Question number 3, what is God's attitude towards sin? And the reference is Isaiah chapter 59, verses 1 and 2. So who has sinned? According to Romans 3, verses 9 to 10, and also verse 23. Question number 5, how did a holy God require sin to be judged? And the reference is Hebrews 9, verse 27. Now, the Bible describes two different and separate judgments. We will all be part of one or the other. First, there is the judgment of disbelievers, those who reject Jesus, those who reject God. So question number 6, how long will God allow us to stay sinful? And the reference is Genesis chapter 6, verse 3. Question 7, when is our appointment for judgment? And the answer is in Hebrews chapter 9, verse 27. Question number 8, let me explain a little bit. Genesis chapter 3 records the first sin. There were two trees in the Garden of Eden. One was the tree of life, and whoever ate from it would become immortal. That's in verse 5. So what did God do to prevent Adam and Eve becoming immortal? And you'll find that in Genesis 3, verses 22 to 24. Question number 9. How does the Bible define eternal life or immortality? And you'll find the reference is John chapter 17, verse 3. Question number 10. What did God do to provide eternal life or immortality? And you'll find that in John chapter 3, verse 16. You should know that one. Question 11. What is the condition for eternal life or immortality? And you'll find that in 1 John chapter 5, verses 11 and 12. Question 12. What did Peter share with Cornelius and his household Now the reference, and I'm going to suggest that you make a little note of each of the verses, because it's in Acts chapter 10, verses 36 to 48. So I'm going to ask you, what do you find in verse 36? What do you find in verse 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, and 43? And there'll be something in each of those verses. Question 13. What did the prophet Daniel see in a vision? It's in Daniel chapter 7, verse 13 and 14. Question number 14. What did the prophet Isaiah see concerning or wrote about the coming Messiah and his kingdom? And you'll find that in Isaiah chapter 9, verses 6 and 7. So, again, we ask that you choose one of the verses as a memory verse so that you've got something to share with others. Please choose one. You'll be glad you did. And if you like the study, we hope you like the page, and we welcome you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you and bless you.